Alright YouTube, welcome back. Well, we made it. We're out in the bush. This is going to be volume 2 of season 2, Heathen Outdoors. Running strike package today. I got Gunner, Mathias. Kind of afraid because we're out here in the bush, and last time we came out here 2 weeks ago, it was the launch of hunting season, deer and turkey season. And I was afraid we weren't be able to get a spot, but I think we came out here early enough today to obtain. Thanks a lot, Gunner. I'm trying to talk to you two. You're taking shit. We came out here early enough today to establish at least a parking spot that's safe. We're gonna hike in. I think it's about a third of a mile. I know of a clearing way back here from walking a path. We are gonna have to make 2 trips in and out, which I'm perfectly okay with. We did pack a little heavier though. Got the camera equipment and all that. Got some new gear to try out, but the first things first. Welcome to this episode, this volume. Thank you for joining us. We're going to load up, go in. We're gonna have to come back out, load up again, and go back in. But it should be fun. Once we get out there, I know there's a couple of trees and there's a clearing there, and I think there's already a fire pit there. So thank you for joining us, and let's do this. Alright guys, so we found our clearing next to the 2 trees. I seen this on the map, it's not too far. I said about a quarter mile, it's really not that, it's probably just a couple hundred yards, but to get here is some really shrubby area and then the clearing opens up. But people have been here, there's already a pre-made fire pit. You can tell this is I guess a popular spot. I've never been here before, so this is going to be new. I'm going to do a video of me pitching up the tent. I took out the one Tigris Tetra today. I got both the dogs with me, so I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room on top of making sure I had some sort of vestibule in order to put the gear on the outside of the tent. So when I have both dogs with me, I need more space inside than I do out. But I wanted to make a quick note on when you're looking for a spot to pitch your tent, what to look for. Obviously, you guys already know you want to make sure that you find the most flattest spot possible, but you want to make sure you're never in like a ravine to where if it were to rain, the water would seep downward into that ravine. So stay out of small ravines, even the smallest dips, stay out of them. If anything, you want to pitch yourself higher than the ravine, that way the water comes off of you and down into the ravine while you're somewhat on the hill. Obviously, look for spaces that don't have a lot of rock, a lot of leaves. Not necessarily leaves, sticks, anything that can poke through the bottom of your tent or poke you during your sleep. Last but not least, something that doesn't really get talked about that I wanted to bring up is the pitch and the elevation of it. If you're on a slanted space, you want to make sure that if that's your only option and you pitch your tent, that your head when you go to sleep is going to be on the highest point of that pitch. That's going to help preventing you from slowly sliding down in your tent, not to mention blood rushing out of your body into your head. I've had some rough sleep when that was my only option. Sometimes that might be your only option for specific reasons. So another thing I wanted to talk about is you want to pay attention to which way, if there is wind, where the wind is coming from. You never want to put yourself downwind from your fire, because if the fire ignites and ambers go up, those ambers are going to go with the wind into your tent. So you want to position yourself either on the opposite side against the wind, or at least parallel to the fire, so it's blowing in front of you and to the side. So now I'm just going to put up the tetra. Alright, so I know I gave a review on the Tetra before. I just don't think I did the justice it needed. It's a really good tent. It's a lightweight tent. My only downfall of that is, if you guys seen, it takes a moment to set up properly. But once it's up, it's a very unique and stylish and a roomy tent. So as you can see, I can take that door completely off with a zipper and tuck it in the corner over here. And that's going to open up that vestibule. I'm going to close it down halfway so I can put some gear in there once I put my tent down, or my tent footprint. But within the vestibule, as you can see, there's the inner mesh tent, in which this is where I'm going to have my sleeping pad and obviously sleep. It's unique because it has what we call the lift in the back. It has a whole screen mesh at the bottom there that allows air circulation to go up and then out the top vents here. The reason why it's really good is, knock on wood, I haven't had any condensation in this tent, because I think that design, I don't know if you can see in the back, there's a little lip there. You can plug that to limit the airflow, or you can unhook that and it opens up that whole screen mesh, which allows ventilation. I don't think I'll need it tonight because it's a little windy, and I got myself placed in front of the fire here with the wind going this way. I'm not worried about embers coming up and drifting, but I'll be eyesight with the fire. Alright, so we're gonna grab the rest of the gear, kind of get unfolded here, get my chair out, and then I think it's time for a glass of tea. Alright, YouTube. I was gonna make some tea. I just don't know if I want to get the fire started this early. I think I might skip out on the tea and probably go for some recon. You know my rule. Always know your entrances, exits, your resources. Find out if there's wildlife near you. You never know what's in the bush. But there's 3 items we're going to, 4 actually, technically, 4 items we're going to be testing out tonight for new gear for this season. The first item is going to be the Gear Bros self-inflating sleep mat. As you guys know, I do not like air mattresses. They hurt my back for some reason, and I've tried many, I just can't dial it in. But I do like my closed cell foam mats, such as the Nemo switchback. So we're gonna add that. I hear a jet. Sorry about that, I heard a jet or something flying over. But we're gonna add the inflatable sleep mat on top of the Nemo for a little bit of extra warmth. The self-inflating mat I got is by Gear Bros, and it actually has, I think it's a rated R value. So it is going to help us keep us warm, but I'm also going to have the Nemo underneath it. It's probably not something you're going to backpack with, because even with it deflated and rolled down, it's still pretty damn big. But we're definitely trying to balance out sleeping firm, which I prefer, but without waking up with like the bruise points from sleeping on your side, your hips, your back, your shoulders, etc. So we're trying to find that balance this season. So we're going to be trying that out tonight. Also, we're going to be trying out some new utensils. I had a Sea to Summit Sport, in which I recently just broke. Those are really meant, because they're titanium, they're really meant for backpacking meals, to stir and to eat. And I was using it to cut steak, and it ended up breaking on me. So now I actually have some titanium Don Deere. Don Deere, this is Amazon special, but I feel like these are very sturdy. Spoon and a fork in this little sheath, which I really like. We're going to be trying that out tonight. Also tonight, we're going to be trying out a new camping pillow. I've been in search for a new camping pillow because I'm all about packing light, but I want to be comfortable. And I had an Amazon special blow-up pillow for the longest time. I ended up switching over to a stuff sack with my hoodie rolled up in it, and that seemed to work really good. I just could never get my head elevated high enough to sleep comfortable. I have wide shoulders, so when I sleep on my side, my neck just wants to go down, so I need something pretty high to lift my head up. So we're going to be trying a very common, the Trekology Off Pillow 2.0. This is real popular among the campers and outdoorsmen. I'm going to try it because I'm also going to do my traditional. I'm going to wrap it with my sham, probably even my hoodie, to give it some extra cushion. So we're trying that out tonight. And then what I'm really excited to try out tonight is my new carbon steel Mettern Stork, my apologies, pan. We're going to be doing some fillets tonight, and then I plan on cutting those up and putting in some garlic bread, and we're going to have some steak sandwiches tonight, us and the boys. But this thing's pretty heavy, but it's foolproof. This thing is carbon steel. I washed it. I've already put it on the heater to bring the coating off of it. I actually took it camping, but we did not use it when I went kinder camping. So I'm excited to use this tonight. Cook some steaks on that, see how that goes. That's the gear for tonight. I think we're going to do a little recon right now. I got about almost 2 o'clock. We got out here fairly early, so we actually do have some time to pass. I'm probably going to do some rune magic and probably dial in with the nature and obviously bless the campsite. So we'll see you guys in a little while. Alright, so I already know you guys are going to be disappointed in me. You guys are going to want me to whip out my ferro rod and get the fire going the old-fashioned way. But I'm not necessarily out here doing like wild camping. I'm a big fan of do it how you want to do it as long as you're having fun. That's my whole thing. So we're having fun. As usual, I bring fire logs for multiple reasons. They last longer in the fire. They're easy to light. It's promising. It's guaranteed. Unlike if I came out here and tried to do like a wild bushcraft video, you may not be able to find the dead wood. And to me, it's not worth chopping down a live tree and trying to burn it. You're not going to get a good burn out of that regardless. So, I always carry this little orange box. I actually bought a camping stove, but the box to me was worth far more than the camping stove. In here I always carry a Bic lighter, I carry my Gerber, and then I always carry these little fire starters. It's bulletproof, man. Like, it's bomb-proof. Like, this thing just, it's reliable. I basically use these logs to get the fire going, guaranteed light, and then I'll throw my natural wood on top of it. It is a little windy, so the fire starters will definitely come into place, because if I just relied on the lighter, it may not give me the best burn and the best starter. but it's already starting to burn here. Just like that. There we go, starting to burn a little bit. I had chopped some of these pieces down real thin. There we go. Get these chopped up like this, start getting some logs burnt. Just the same thing as if you were working with kindling. Start small, work your way big. You never want to put just big chunks of wood on a fire. It's likely not going to catch. And I also noticed that if you take your natural wood and give it some incisions like so, it helps the flames actually ignite some of the fibers in the wood. So I'll do just that every now and then, something like this, and get that going like that. Alright, we're going to start getting this food ready here. So I'm going to use the ice chest as a table, and then I think I'll put the meat in here. And then what I do is sometimes I'll just use a tiny little pill bottle like so. And since we're doing red meat, I usually just do salt, pepper, garlic. A little more garlic than salt and pepper, just to season them up. We'll get this pan ready. I got butter to put in the pan. And then I'm just going to flip it and eat it with my knife that I have on me. So for starters, let me get this out. My meat. Back up. Gotta tell my boys slow down. They smell the meat and they're just like, oh, it's food time. Back up. You only get some when you're good. If you try to rob me, we're gonna have problems. So get this out here. Look at that. You can see that. I got some fillets here. Compliments of Kroger. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, when I was picking them out, I told the lady a little small, just because I already knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to put them in here on that little cake pan to season them up and let them rest while I got the fire where I wanted it. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some of this salt, pepper, garlic on one side. Be very, very careful, but at the same time, it's red meat, so you really want to make sure they get their fair share. Pat it in there. The wind is really taking this. It's going to be a little choppy tonight, but I think we're going to be okay regardless. Big hunks of meat like this, you can actually do a little bit of overkill and it's not going to hurt it. It can take it. There we go, just like, ooh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Very nice. And then I'll put this back like this, put this on the side. This ice chest I bought, it's a zipperless cold lock. Not really, I think the brand is Titan. Got this at Walmart 3 winters ago. I've had it ever since. It's perfect for a one-man camp, maybe even 2-man, depending on how many cold ones you bring now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the meat like so and dab it on the side. Get a little bit of that extra seasoning that fell between the cracks. Like so. Bam. And these things are ready. Now, compliments of my tribe sister Crystal. She works in a dentistry. I'm sorry, I just lied to you. Not a dentistry. She works at an eye surgeon hospital. And she gets these rags, in which I've been using for camping, and they're perfect. I guess if you really wanted to make them last, you can wash them. But I usually just rinse them out in water, hot water, and let them air dry. You just got to be accepting of your hands aren't going to be super clean, but that's why I always bring sanitizing wipes. There's nothing wrong with wanting clean hands, trust me. Not too clean. This is how humanity has survived, is growing antibodies to fight bacteria. So, this is just to ensure that my hands are clean. So when that fire's ready, which I'm going to put a log across that fire, put my skillet on there, drop some butter in it, and then we're going to fry these up. I'm going to have to play the hot and cold game, because I don't want these to cook too fast on the outside, because these are some thick steaks to the point where it's going to be raw in the middle. You can eat it and it'll be good, but I kind of want it to soak a little bit of blood in there because I want it to be juicy. And I got the French bread on deck, and then we'll make some sandwiches. Ah, YouTube. Filet cooked over the campfire in the carbon steel, French bread, butter. Oh, this steak sandwich, dude. And I swear to you, and the gentlemen already know what I mean, the flavor enhances because it's outdoors. Man, I gotta get more bites. The absolute only thing I would change is maybe I would toast it a little longer. You know what would go good with this steak sandwich? Top the Rockies. No move. Alright, YouTube. Just kicking back by the fire, enjoying some drinks. Out here in the night, in the woods. Wanted to take this time to do something a little different this time around. Typically I would bring the shot of Jägermeister and we would do some sort of celebration toast to somebody or something, accomplishments, goals, achievements, etc. Tonight I kind of wanted to take this time, and I realize this video is probably going to go a little longer than planned, but this is going to be also an important video for people who might have questions. I don't get asked specifically a lot here on YouTube, but in my personal life, especially my professional life, I've been asked, what is it like to be heathen? What does it mean to be heathen? What does it mean to be a pagan? What does it mean to be Norse pagan? Disclaimer right here, right now, I can't tell you what it's like for other people. I can only tell you what it's like being heathen for me, being a pagan for me, and I think I can speak for a large percentile of my kindred on what it's like being pagan and heathen. 9 Faith Kindred, Fellowship of Texas, to the day I die. What does it mean to be pagan? Well, you got to realize, even your ancestors were pagan at one time, whether if you want to admit it or not. I hear a car. I think there's a road almost a quarter mile over them trees where I came into the prairie, and I can hear traffic. Yeah, whether you like it or not, your ancestors were pagan of some sort at one time. Christianity is a very, very young religion, and so let me stop right there. Religion, by definition, is your following based on someone else's experience. Hence, Moses writing the tablets, passing the word of God down. Now you take in and worship that God and follow that path. I'm not saying you don't have your own experience, but 99% of that bylaw in the Abrahamic religion is based on someone else's experience in which you choose to follow if you are a Christian or a Catholic. Paganism 101 is a faith, a spirituality, and all of that is summed up based on your experience. That's what makes this faith and following so beautiful, is someone's experience is going to be completely different than someone else's experience. There's no dogma in this pool of faith, meaning you have to do something this way. You have to obey by this law. You have to bow down to this God. There's nothing in any form of lore from many different cultures in the pagan time that says you have to do that. And I think that's what makes more and more people, they might claim a religion, but I think in their heart they're more spiritual following to things because they make it their own. Now, as a heathen, as a Norse pagan, I do believe we have a standard to follow. I do believe that we have to uphold our ancestors and the ways of the ancestors, meaning we're not walking around creating random deities and mixing all of these pantheons of lore just because we want to. I do believe there is a responsibility there to uphold what was traditionally the way of the ancestors, the old ways. Now, what does it mean to be a pagan? It doesn't necessarily mean nature worship, but nature plays a huge role in this following. Nature by itself might be beautiful to one, but when one is in nature, you become one. That's the big key, and that's the big difference in it. We see nature as part of us instead of just a beautiful thing that we get to walk on and touch. We see nature and the nature of life as a cycle, just like the moon cycle. We see it as a cycle of life, just like life, birth, death, rebirth. I don't think we are too far away from a following of an Abrahamic religion. We still have high honor codes within our tribes. We still believe in doing right by our ancestors, right by our name. So for instance, our last name is borrowed. It is not our name. We borrowed it from our ancestors, and so we believe we owe it to them to speak the truth and protect it. We owe it to them to be disciplined enough to get the grit, get things done, power through it, perseverance, to have honor, have great hospitality, to ensure that we embrace the industriousness, to ensure that nothing's going to stop us and we can conquer all the obstacles life throws at us. Through all of that, through everything that we go through in life, we also are fully aware of what I like to personally call the powers of the cosmos. Now, each heathen and pagan is different. There are Norse pagans out there that firmly believe Odin is a god that lives in the sky. He has one eye, he has a beard, he has 2 ravens and 2 wolves. There are people out there that believe that the deities of the ancestors' times were real people, passed down through name, passed down through story, passed down through poem, in which eventually led to nothing. I don't believe so. Where I specialize as a Gothi of my tribe is cracking the Eddas. The poetic Edda and the prose Edda. I specialize in taking those poems, dissecting them, and understanding that places, times, names of deities, all of that is metaphoric code for things, and specifically life and the nature of life. And so when you read the poems in that form, these poems make a lot more sense than just random stories of the gods. And so therefore, I firmly believe that these deities that our ancestors worshipped were indeed 2 things at one time. I think they were metaphorical for story and able to give a name to something that was important in the nature of life, such as the spirit, the passion, the mind. And or at the same time, they were specific, these deities, these powers of the cosmos, that not necessarily controlled the cosmos, that had aspects of themselves in it. I don't think we can call upon these deities for instant help, instant gratitude. I do believe we trade with them. I believe just as much as anything else in life, you're not going to get anything for free, so therefore that's why pagans have always offered something to the deities. We believe there's a fair trade. And if you want something really good and really great, you want to offer something of value. But these powers of the cosmos don't think of currency. Value to them would be life force, such as blood, or time, sweat, blood, and tears that has been poured into something that has high value, in which you would trade to them. So a lot of things we do, my tribe and I will make homemade mead, which takes time, it takes energy from us, it takes a lot of passion to build, and it takes a lot of patience for it to do its job, and then at the end of it we can bless it and then offer it to the gods. Do I think Odin walks this earth as an old man in a wizard hat? No, I don't. But I do think Odin, as a universal spirit of the cosmos, will make an appearance to check on all his children. And I firmly believe that because he gets the term Allfather, because he's the one that breathed a little bit of his life into each and every one of ours. And I think that's the nearest thing to God I think me as a pagan heathen would have. I'm not worried about my deities judging me, because that's not what I believe in. That's not what the ancestors believed in. We're all going to go to the same place. But so why don't I rob banks, and why don't I do very harm to people to benefit myself? Because I have honor, and I follow an honor code. And when I die, I want my name to speak highly of, through my ancestors, through my kin, through my tribe, through my friends, through my family. That's why it's important to hold your name up high and make sure it stays pure among everyone around you. There's an old saying, and I picked it up a long time ago. You know, a lot of the Christians and Catholics believe that if you don't do good and buy your way into heaven, that you're going to go to the lake of fire. Well, the first thing I say is, if the lake of fire is full of goth girls with black lipstick, throw me in there. But if that's what they believe, who's to say they're not only good to you in person because the fear of where they're going to go after they die, compared to a pagan or a heathen that is good to you in person because they are genuinely a good person. This isn't about a debate. This isn't to start an argument. These are just simple questions I get asked a lot, especially in my professional life. And the look on their faces. Nick, you're so polite. You're very firm. You have great hospitality. You're funny. All that stuff. And then you find out that I'm heathen, and they're just like, wait, what? Heathenism, paganism, is making a comeback all over the world. And in some places in the world, it's never left. And I think people are waking up from the failure of the prayer, failure of the church, failure of their God, because he's never been there. And I think more and more people are waking up to their own doing, realizing they are in charge, not a powerful deity that has a story for them. I brought some wine tonight. Nothing special. It's a really cheap wine, but it's a wine that I actually like. And so tonight I really wanted us to sit by the fire, sip my wine. I got my boys here. I'm out in nature. Mother Yord is taking care of us. There's nothing more in the world that I need right here. It would be nice to have my other boys around, but right now, life is good, and I cannot express that anymore. Hail. Alright, YouTube. Yeah. Cracking boys. Getting warm by the fire. Just wanted to give a quick update on some of the stuff that I had a chance to try out already, such as the carbon steel pan and my utensils. I much prefer these utensils than my spork that I bought from Sea and Summit. The idea of the spork from Sea to Summit, obviously makes sense. It's very lightweight, but it's meant for stirring pots and eating out of a bag, right? Backpack food. Where the utensils I have now, Amazon special, thick titanium, meant for cutting steak. And that's how I broke my spork. I was camping and my kindred and I cooked some steaks. I put the spork in the steak to cut it. When I put the spork in there, it snapped in half. So it's for backpacking. It's probably legit and 100% great for backpacking. It broke on me cutting the steak. So tread lightly. Carbon steel pan. It is kind of heavy. You're probably not backpacking with it, but if you're gonna do kind of a hike in, hike out, or a bushcraft, or for me, park the car, haul the gear in, haul the gear back out, well worth it. All of the meat came out fully seared. I even got a little bit rare in the middle, the way I like it. But even like cleaning up was really good too. So more use from that coming. And then the two other items we have will be tonight. I'm gonna have the Trekology pillow on top of the Gear Bros sleeping pad, self-inflating. I will give you that update in the morning. For now, as you can see, Gunner's sleeping. I'm tired. Dad's cracking beers. We got music in the background. We're jiving right now. We are definitely jiving. And I think the spirits are with us. Beautiful. Good morning, YouTube. Just crawled out of bed. Well, I wanted to give the Gear Bros a good review on their inflating sleep pad, but I don't think I'm going to give you an answer yet. I did sleep kind of rough last night. I think it was a cross between, there was a lot of moisture in the air last night, and I know sometimes out here in the bush it can become very wet, and that's what it was. I kept tossing and turning. I had pillow issues, but not because of the Trekology pillow. The Trekology pillow is going to get a really good review from me because I feel it was better, but it kept sliding on the pad, so my sham that I wrapped around it really didn't do a good justice on it. So I'm going to have to sleep with that again, this time with probably my hoodie around it so it doesn't slide as much. Not to mention, with me and both the boys in there, there just wasn't enough room for me to actually stretch out. So that's going to be another target that I'm going to have to try when it comes to the pad and pillow review. Other than that, I think this is going to wrap up Volume 2. Season 2, we are excited you guys are with us. We have a long season ahead, but we're going to review those 2 items next time, and this time we'll bring a bigger tent so we can all fit in there comfortably, of course. As always, you guys, thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you, and stay heathen.